Welcome, welcome. Hello. Thank you for being here and watching this video. Thank you so much. If you don't know who I am Danielle, and welcome to Elevate by Any Means. Welcome, welcome. I'm just lighting my Palo Santos, guys. Just 1 second. Clear our energies. Clear my energy. Your energy. The whole space, right? Okay. Now, today we're going to be talking about the Kybalion, the 7 Hermetic principles, right? We're going to do a short overview of the 7 Hermetic principles. Smoking a lot. We're going to do a short overview of the 7 Hermetic principles, breaking them down and stating what the Kybalion says. Now, if you haven't seen this book, the Kybalion by the 3 Initiates, it's a Hermetic philosophy, right? It talks about how we are connected spiritually, and addressing the universal laws that govern the spiritual and material realms. It is important that we know this because it states that we are able to help create our reality or co-create our reality with knowing these 7 Hermetic principles, right? So when we're thinking about the 7 Hermetic principles, like, it's a lot of us who do not understand what this is. And today we're going to understand a little bit better, right? Now, I have been studying this book and I have taken my notes, so you will see me looking down. I do want to make sure that I'm giving the most accurate information that I felt like was important. But I want to encourage everyone to read it for yourself, because what stands out to me may not stand out to you. What you may need to understand a little bit deeper by reading it yourself than just listening to this video. So I encourage everyone to do their own research. Always do your own research, okay? Now, the first quote that stood out to me, the first quote that talks about the 7 Hermetic principles, it states, the principles of truth are 7. And I want to read it from this book real quick. I want to read it to you. It states, the principle of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possess the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. That is like immediately deep. Immediately, right? So we're going to start breaking down the Hermetic principles and what they are. And we're going to cover like a couple of the facts about that was stated in the Kybalion about each principle. Now, there will be other videos following this video, so make sure you stay tuned for the entire series. I want to break down everything in here that seems important. I want to bring forth my notes to everybody so that everybody can, if you don't have the book, if you haven't read it, or if you just need a little more understanding, or you need to hear it from someone else, then I'm here for that, okay? And please understand that we are all learning. We are all learning. I'm here learning just like you learning. Like, I had to read this book multiple times. It's not the first time I've read the Kybalion. It's not the first time. Okay? So, let's get started. We're going to start with the 7 Hermetic philosophies. And what are the philosophies, right? We're going to break those down. We're going to talk about the quotes that they have per philosophy. And we're going to also go into what they state about each philosophy according to the Kybalion. All right? Now, the first Hermetic principle or philosophy is mentalism. The principle of mentalism. The second one is the principle of correspondence. The third, the principle of vibration. The fourth, the principle of polarity. The fifth, the principle of rhythm. The sixth, cause and effect. The principle of cause and effect, right? And then number 7, the principle of gender. the principle of gender. All right, now we're going to start with the first one, which is mentalism. Now, when we're talking about mentalism, it states the all is mind. The universe is mental. Immediately, what does that tell you? Think about it. Like, really think about it, because when I first read that, it was a little hard for me to wrap my mind around everything being mental. Because to us, everything feels physical. Me hitting this desk feels it's physical. Me touching like my light remote, like it's physical. It feels physical. So thinking about everything being mental, just it's one of those things that you have to accept and go with, because it says the all is mind. So if source is mind, the universe is mental, right? And I'm gonna make this clear. For me, when they state the all, I'm thinking the great creator. I'm thinking source. You can put whatever you want in that space, whatever fits for you. But for me, it's the great creator. And I call great creator God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you know, fill in that blank with. I don't want to offend anybody by leaving something out, but I just want you to understand that whatever you put in that blank is according to your perception, and that is what it is, okay? Now, the all is spirit, which is unknowable and undefinable. All is also thought of as a living universal, infinite, living mind. I'm going to say that again. The all is spirit, which is unknowable, undefinable, and also thought of as a living, universal, infinite, living mind. Okay? Because of this, the universe is mental, the mental creation of the all. Because of this, it means that, in fact, everything exists in the mind of the all. Everything exists in the mind of the all. It goes on to say, understanding this Hermetic principle of mentalism means that you can understand the laws of the mental universe and apply it to advance in life. Think of it this way, right? You want to think of it like you got the entire universe, every object, every experience, every thought, every feeling exists within a vast mind of the creator, right? Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Anything is possible, right? You ever heard that saying, anything is possible if you believe? This is exactly that, right? Just as our thoughts create our personal experience, this universal mind, sometimes considered divine or infinite, creates the whole reality. Okay? So, in simple terms, the principle of mentalism is about understanding that reality itself is shaped and held together by consciousness. It's all held together by consciousness, right? So for us, it implies that our minds are powerful. That's number one. We are part of the creator. We have some of the same things that the creator can do, right? So if it's telling you that everything is created through consciousness, your vibration, your frequency, the stuff you're listening to, the stuff you're doing, the stuff you think about, all of that exists, and all of it matters to how your consciousness is developing. If you are stressed and everything else, like you think about your vibration closing in, it's contracting, it's closing in, it's scrunching down. But if you are in a feel good state in love and you vibrating with happiness and peace, then your vibration, it opens up, it expands. It expands, and it's telling you here that everything is consciousness. Everything that is created in the mental, and it's all through consciousness, right? So it implies that we are super powerful. We just don't know it yet. So since everything starts with thought, by changing our thinking and beliefs, we can influence our reality. It is called to be mindful of what we focus on, as our thoughts play a big role in, let me move this down a little bit, guys. It plays a big role in our lives, okay? Now we're moving on to the principle of correspondence. But to review the mentalism real quick, remember, the all is mind, the universe is mental. We can use this principle to understand how powerful we are by applying this and understanding this, okay? That everything we think about can change. We co-create our reality. We can bring and influence things into our reality if we are vibrating at the frequency that we need to vibrate in, which we'll also be going to the principle of vibration soon. But think about that. Think about everything that we're saying here. Think about everything that is being read to you here, because it is deep. It is super deep to understand, like, hey, like, your mind is more powerful than you think. Your mind is powerful, like more powerful than you think. And it is insane to me. Like, when I'm reading this, guys, like, it literally puts me in a place of like, wow, like, I never knew. I would always say that I'm powerful. I would always use that as an affirmation. But to think that stating that and actually applying it to our life could make our life something tremendous, something that we desire to create, something we desire to experience just by applying these principles is amazing. It's literally mind-blowing, because when you think about it, you can literally understand this, follow these principles, and change your entire life. Wow, right? So let's keep going. Now we're talking about the principle of correspondence now. And it's really the principle of everything that's connecting. It's like connecting, the principle of connecting, okay? As above, so below. As below, so above, okay? That is the quote for the correspondence, the principle of correspondence. This principle shows how there is a correspondence between the laws and phenomenon of various planes of being, okay? Like, we may not see it with our eyes, but in this one space, there could be multiple planes existing at the same time. Just how there are planes unknowable to us, this principle applies to the material, spiritual, and mental universe. This is called the universal law, right? It's a universal law. In simple terms, it means what happens on one level of existence is reflected on another. For example, patterns in nature, like structures of atoms, can be similar patterns in the universe, like the structure of galaxies. This principle suggests that the same universal rules apply to both large and small, inner and outer. Okay? Whatever is happening on the larger plane is definitely happening on this plane. Whatever's happening on this plane is the same thing that is happening on other planes. Okay? Whether you can see it or not, it is happening. Okay, for us, it means that by understanding this one aspect in life, like our inner thoughts or personal experiences, we gain insight to another, like the larger world or spiritual realms, right? It is a reminder that we can all connect, and the patterns we see around us mirrors other patterns. It mirrors other things. So we're not just here thinking we're original and things are not happening outside of the human body, right? The human, like the physical world. There are things on the spiritual realm that happens just like it does here. Okay? Now, the ancient Hermetics considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry inside the obstacles which hid from view of the unknown. Do more digging, guys, because there's so much to unpack with that. It's so much to unpack with that, but you have to do your own research. And so do I. Excuse me. Now, moving on to the laws of vibration. The quote states, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Nothing rests, everything moves, nothing vibrates. I'm sorry, everything vibrates. All right. This principle explains the difference in manifestation of matter, energy, mind, and spirit, and how vibration rates matter. Okay? On the scale, the higher you vibrate, the higher you are on the scale. There are millions of vibrations and degrees in vibrations. Understanding this principle can enable the Hermetic student to control their own mental vibrations. I am a big fan of teaching people about how you are vibrating, the things that you have in your life, the things you're listening to, the food, the things you think about. All of this matters because at the end of the day, like it says, it creates your reality. It helps you create your reality. And the last thing you want to do is be creating chaos. The last thing you want to do is create things that does not work for you, the things that you do not want. It literally states that you can enable like all things. You can enable all things to manifest, whether it's matter, energy, mind, spirit. Your vibration matters. How high depends on the scale. The higher you are, the higher you go up. Okay. Now, don't take no offense if you don't feel like you're that high on the scale. The fact that you can love somebody, do something kind for somebody, means your vibration is rising. The fact that you're trying to be a better person, that you're doing what you need to do, you are expanding. Okay, you're learning. It's time to shift for you, and that shift is happening. So be consistent. Okay, be consistent. Keep going, even if it feels tough, even if it feels hard, even if you're tired, even if you're scared. Keep going because your vibration matters. The law of vibration states that nothing rests, everything moves, and everything vibrates. You are a vibrating being. Whether you think about it that way or not, you are vibrating. Everything around us has a vibration, meaning the music, the food, everything. Like you're thinking like, oh, I'm just having a good time. That's cool. If that works for you, that works for you. But be mindful. Be mindful. Just be mindful of everything. Put it into a space of like your vibration is one of the most important things that you need to elevate it. That's the biggest key. I know when we're trying to manifest in everything, we're just thinking like, okay, well, I want this house, I want that car, I want this amount of money. But if your vibration is on a lower frequency, it doesn't mean that you can't manifest. It just means you're not going to manifest the most beautiful thing that you desire, that your heart desires. So it's understandably one of those spaces where you're going to have to put in the work to get where you're trying to go. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to work on your vibration. You're going to have to change some things, and change seems hard sometimes. But guess what? It literally states that we can do so much once we realize what we can do with our vibration being expanded. So, let's start right here where it says, on a basic level, Even things that seem solid are still actually made of particles that are vibrating. Different vibrates, different things vibrate at different frequencies. Higher frequencies often are linked to light, spirit, and positive emotions, while lower frequencies can sometimes be linked to negative emotions. For us, this principle suggests that our thoughts, our feelings, our energy, all have vibration and affects our experiences, right? It affects our experiences. I don't know why I'm struggling to get that word out. Experiences. By raising our vibration through positive thoughts, gratitude, love, healthy actions, we can attract higher frequencies and improve our life. It's a reminder that we're all made of energy. We're all made of energy, and we can influence our lives by shifting our inner vibrations, right? Which is also known as the principle of conquering a natural phenomenon. I'm sorry, I butchered that. Let me say that again. Which all is known as the principle of conquering of natural phenomenon. Look that up. Okay? Conquering the natural phenomenon in relation to the principle of vibration involves understanding and mastering the vibrations that influence the physical and mental experiences. Okay? According to the Kybalion, when recognized that everything vibrates and that we too admit our own unique vibrations, even gain the potential to influence and to some degree conquer and control the aspects of reality. Now, here's how it can connect to the principle of vibration, right? Here is how everything can come together where you are can use your vibration to get the things that you are desiring, the things that you want. And I thought this was like really helpful in understanding why your vibration mattered, okay? Number one, shifting your personal energy. Now, by becoming aware of our own vibration through thoughts, emotions, actions, we can consciously raise our vibration, okay? Our frequency. For example, choosing positive emotions, engaging in healthy activities, or focusing on uplifting thoughts can help us shift our vibration that are aligned with higher frequencies. This internal shift can improve our well being and bring us more favorable experiences, which can be seen as conquering negative patterns. Number two, influencing internal circumstances through practices like meditation, visualization, or affirmations. People can attune their mind to the desired outcome since the Hermetic philosophy, like attracts like, raising our vibration can help attract people, situations, and outcomes that match our desired energy. This form of energetic alignment is often seen as mastering or working with the natural phenomena, right? To bring about desired change in one's life, right? It's insane. It's so much information in just this short part that literally this is one of the main things that I like to talk about because it hits me on a deeper level. When you start to change your frequency, when you start to decide that everything you want needs to shift to something better, to something bigger, to something grander, to something more beautiful, those thoughts, that vibration, all that stuff matters. Like when I'm saying this, I truly connect to it because it literally makes me smile because I understand that I have already been in this space where I am trying to do these things. And we all are. Like you may do it unconsciously and not even know it. When you try to switch off those negative thoughts, you're doing this. You're trying to upgrade your frequency, but you don't realize that you're doing it. Sometimes we're just in a state where we just decide like, hey, I just want to be happy. Hey, I just want to feel good. Hey, I just want to have the things that I desire. I just want to have that house, have that car, all those things. As long as it's coming with feel good vibrations, you're going to attract that. It's literally in this book. So let's keep going before I get too excited. Okay. Number 3, healing and transformation. The principle of vibration is also at the root of many energy-based healing practices, such as sound therapy or Reiki. By applying the right frequency, people believe that they can help balance and heal bodily or mental states, overcoming certain natural limitations. This healing approach is another way of working with vibrations to conquer or to least manage natural phenomena such as pain, illness, and emotional distress. In short, conquering the natural phenomenon through the principle of vibration is about understanding and consciously directing energy to harmonize with or transform your experience. Guys, like it's so important. This is deep. Allowing us to raise above certain limitations and shape our reality more effectively. Wow. I think I love the law of vibration. I love what it states. I love what it's saying so far. I love how it's breaking down like how to use it, how to do it, and how to understand and apply it on a daily basis. Like it's really good. Really, really good. You guys, I really hope you go get this book. You can purchase it online, whatever you need, but you need to read this for yourself. If you're not taking notes, if you're not taking notes on what is being said and it's coming up, guys, I'm telling you, this book is going to help change your life. Okay? The law of polarity, right? We're talking about the law of polarity now. All right. It states everything is dual, everything has polars, everything has pairs of opposites, likes and unlikes are the same. Say that again. Likes and unlikes are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees, extremes, meet all truths are but half truths, and all paradoxes may be reconciled. That's a lot to unpack. This law breaks down that although opposites are similar, just different degrees of the same. The principle of polarity breaks down, this law breaks down that although opposites are similar, just different in degrees, this principle explains the paradoxes and can't be superseded. Example of a paradox of these paradoxes: love, hate, cold, hot, up, down. You know, they are various degrees of the same thing, but it's possible to change hate to love vibration in your own mind and in the minds of others, which is done by the use of will and the Hermetic formula. Okay, now here's the thing. I literally was wondering what this Hermetic formula was. But here's what I got. Okay, I did some research, I did some digging. It also talks about it, right? Now, it states that mental transmutation is a core Hermetic formula based on the principle of mentalism, which holds that everything is mental. Mental transmutation is about transforming your thoughts, your mental states, to bring about the desired changes. For example, changing negative thoughts to positive ones, or converting fear to courage is a way of practicing mental alchemy. Okay. And then it goes on to state that with polarity shifts, based on the principle of polarity, this formula involves moving along the spectrum of any dual quality, like moving from sadness to happiness, from doubt to faith, by recognizing that opposites are simply just different degrees of the same thing. We can consciously shift our emotions and attitudes by gradually adjusting mental focus, right? Now, vibration matching is also a part of this Hermetic formula. Vibration matching, this formula applies to the principle of vibration, which states that everything vibrates at different frequencies. The Hermeticists believe that by raising their mental and emotional vibration through positive thoughts, affirmations, gratitude, or love, that they can attract higher vibration experiences or people. This is similar to the law of attraction, where like energy attracts energy, right? Okay, now mastering rhythm with the Hermetic formula talks about, we haven't even gotten to rhythm yet on this, so bear with me. Mastering rhythm with the principle of rhythm, we understand that everything has a natural cycle or flow, like the tides or seasons. Okay, this principle, this formula for the principles involves recognizing and adapting to life's natural ups and downs instead of resisting them. By understanding rhythm, one can remain calm and balanced. That's important in challenges and during challenging times, known that every low followed by a high and vice versa. So if you're at a low and you're just looking for that, understand that that high is coming. If you're at a high, it's understandable that the lows can shift. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're meant to suffer. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that this is just what happens. It's a natural process. It doesn't always feel good, but it's something that we have to understand in order to get through it and keep our vibration where it needs to be. Now, effect awareness, cause and effect awareness using the principle of cause and effect. This Hermetic formula is about becoming more conscious of one's actions and their consequences. It encourages mindfulness about how our thoughts, words, and deeds create results, helping us to act intentionally and influence the outcome of favor, right? Of our favor. Balancing masculine and feminine energies. This principle of gender suggests that both masculine and feminine energies exist within everything. They need to be balanced. In practical terms, this formula is about using both actions, masculine energy, and the receptivity or intuition, feminine energy, to create harmony and achieve goals effectively. These formulas are designed to help individuals take charge of their mental, emotional, and spiritual states by aligning with the natural laws of the universe. Though these practices, one can consciously influence their life experience, find inner balance, pursue spiritual evolution. Okay? Now, I was trying to see if there was anything else that I wanted to go cover about the Hermetic formulas, because that's the research that I got. Okay, so we're going to keep moving. We're going to move on to the principle of rhythm. The principle of rhythm: everything flows in and out, all things has its tides, the pendulum swings, manifest in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is equal to the measure of the swing to the left, right? Rhythm will compensate. Just like other principles of law applying to everything. However, the effects of this can be overturned with mental law of neutralization. So I'm going to say that again. Just like the principles of law that apply to everything. However, when you're thinking about this swing and how things go from good to bad, which are the same, they're just different degrees, you have to think about that the fact that you can overturn some of this with the law of neutralization. Other principles cannot be stopped. However, the law of neutralization can lessen the effects of the swing. So they are able to be used instead of being used by it. So let's talk about the law of neutralization for a second, okay? Now, it states the law of neutralization is the ability to rise above life's natural cycles of highs and lows by consciously managing one's mental and emotional responses. Okay, it says it teaches through mindfulness and detachment. We can remain balanced and unaffected by the swing of life's rhythm. Here's how it works. I just want to take a minute to talk about this for a second. Don't that sound familiar? When we're talking about manifestation, you don't really understand exactly what you're doing. You're literally just going off. A lot of times, a lot of us are just going off what people are telling us to do. So when we're talking about raise your vibration and hold the frequency and push away negative thoughts, we're literally following the Hermetic principles and don't even know it. Because to me, it sounds like all of this sounds exactly what we talk about when we're talking about manifesting, when we're talking about making positive shifts and changes in our life, right? It sounds the same. It sounds exactly the same. Okay? Now, let's get into here's how. Rising above emotional mood swings. You have to rise above the emotional swings, okay? Instead of being heavily affected by every high and low in life, we can practice emotional detachment or mindfulness to stay balanced by observing our emotions without getting attached. We can reduce the impact of life's natural ups and downs, keeping a sense of inner calm. Okay, mastering the mind. The first one was rising above emotional swings. This one states mastering the mind. Through conscious awareness and control of our thoughts, we can neutralize the effects of the rhythms. For instance, if you are experiencing a challenging period, a low period, you can use positive thinking, meditation, self reflection to avoid being pulled down too far. Normally, sometimes when we are going through certain things, like we literally don't understand that, like when we're in a low spot, we're literally constantly being pulled down. Constantly, because then you be like, what else could happen? Okay, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. Man, this ain't gonna change. Like we all go through, we all have said it, we all have felt it. But this right here, literally, this is our guidebook, because it's literally telling us everything that we have been working on, everything that we have been teaching, everything. We have to learn these principles and laws and apply them, okay? We have to apply them, because it's literally talking about the same thing we talk about with manifestation, the same thing we talk about with attraction, detachments. We talk about that as well. Setting something out to the universe and then just saying, you know what? I detach from that thing so that I can receive. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I don't know if you guys understand, like, I do this. So if you guys understand enough to want to change your life, to want to be the best version of you, to want those things that you desire, to change your life circumstances, these Hermetic laws is the truth. Okay? Given everything that we've talked about so far, it all sounds like manifestation techniques. It all sounds like manifestation techniques. Now, breaking it down this way, we can start to understand, like, okay, I know not to do this. I know to do that. I know I should go this path because this is the path that I want to take. I know I should go this way because this is the vibration I want to be on. I know I shouldn't go that way because it's lower. I know when I'm having a low, I shouldn't get sucked down into it, right? So let's keep going, because I'll talk forever. It gets me excited. Okay. For instance, it stops you from being pulled down too low. Okay. Likewise, during a high, staying grounded can prevent overexcitement and could lead to burnout or disappointment. The third thing is avoiding extremes. Okay. Avoiding extremes by practicing neutrality. I can't say it. Neutrality. We can avoid extreme reactions rather than letting outer circumstances fully control our inner states. We can regulate them if we decide that that's good that happened, but I'm good. Being more resilient during those changes, not allowing everything that happens to set you off on an emotional rise or low, right? So it states that the law of neutralization helps individuals take charge of their inner world regardless of the external circumstances. So the law of neutralization helps individuals take charge of their life regardless on what's going on, regardless on any external circumstances. Okay? By not letting ourselves be overly influenced by the rhythm of highs and lows, we can cultivate a stable, peaceful mind that ultimately feels empowered and more balanced, right? It's like consciously making sure you're in that space, right? So, moving on to the principle of cause and effect. Here's what we need to know. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a law not recognized. There are many levels of causation, but escapes the law. Okay? Chance is but a law not recognized, which has many levels that escapes the law of cause and effect. Okay? Now, let's break this down even further. It talks about this states by mentally rising to a higher plane that you can become the causer instead of the effect. I'm going to say it again. This states by mentally rising to a higher plane, you can become the causer instead of the effects. I hope this hitting y'all like a ton of bricks because it feels heavy on me. Every time it's like, ding, light bulb, ding, light bulb. It's like, hey, remember all that stuff you were saying? Remember all that stuff that you do? This is exactly why. This is exactly why. People are normally obedient to environments and wills and the desires of others who are stronger than themselves. This is why you gotta upgrade. This is why you gotta upgrade, because as soon as somebody come in who got a stronger willpower, who got stronger desires, you bend. We're not bending any longer. We're not allowing that in our life. We are strong. We are strong and we stand firm in our power. Okay? So let's keep going. All right. It says others, causing them to move like pawns on a chessboard of life. So they bend to the wills of others and they move. They're moving things and people like chess pawns. Okay? However, being able to rise above gaining control, they are able to affect the surroundings, become the mover of the pawns instead of the one being played by the game of life. I don't know what y'all gonna do. I'm over here ready to scream. I feel like it hit so deep to me. I hope it hitting y'all the same way, because at least you understand like what's going on when you're trying to manifest, what you should be thinking about when you're trying to apply these principles, because this is deep. This is really deep. All right. It says the masters obey rules and of the causation of the higher planes, but help to rule on their own plane. Rules of causation. Let's talk about it. Okay. The rules of causation are rooted in the Hermetic principle of cause and effect. States that every cause has an effect. Nothing is by chance. Every action or thought has a corresponding outcome. Effect has a cause. Events and outcomes are always the results of something. Events and outcomes are always the results of something, even if the cause isn't immediately visible. Right? Like causes produce like effects. Like causes produce like effects. Okay? Similar actions, behaviors, or energies tend to produce similar results. Positive actions bring positive outcomes. Negative actions brings negative outcomes. All right? And the fourth one for this one, under rules of causation, higher causation can override lower causation. By aligning with higher principles, higher principles or consciousness, we can influence or override certain effects, changing outcomes by addressing deeper root causes. I'm going to say that again. We can influence or override certain effects, changing outcomes by addressing deeper root causes. Okay. Now, we're going to go into where, like the steps. While there isn't a formal steps of the principle of cause and effects, it can be helpful to break it down to practical stages for better understanding and application. Okay, now here's the thing. When we're going over this, I hope you guys are taking notes because this stuff is really deep. And when I say deep, I mean it can help you change your life. If you are not in that state where you're getting moved by reading the Kybalion, it is deep. Maybe you need to pull out the book and read it for yourself, purchase the book, read it online, PDF, read along with me, whatever you need to do. Because these are my notes from me reading. So you may find something that hits you deeper in a different kind of way that I may not be saying, okay? So keep in mind that you have to do your part. You have to do your research, okay? Now, here's the thing to think about, all right? Although there are no formal steps, they're telling you that there are some things that you can do. Identify the cause. Number one, recognize the starting point or action that initiates a chain of events. This could be the decision, an action, or a behavior. You know, it can start in the morning when you get up. Getting up thinking, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to deal with these people. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. It just leads to more of what? That exact feeling. It boosts that feeling. Now you're going to have to deal with them because it's going to be attracted to you. Right? Number two, understand the effects. Analyze the outcomes or consequences that arise from the cause. This involves thinking through both short-term and long-term effects. Number three, plan and act intentionally. Make decisions and take actions with a clear understanding of the desired outcome. Clear intentions. You need clear intentions, okay? Now, when we're talking about this, please, bro, I'm telling you, y'all need to be, I really hope y'all write this down. Replay it, go back, play it over and over again, write it down, whatever you need to do. You need to understand all of this. This is so important to us in our manifestation, our vibration, our frequencies, all of it. Guys, you have to take action, okay? So, be deliberate and mindful about causes and creations that you are creating, because there are some things that you are creating you may not realize are happening. So it's telling you to be intentional and act only with intention. Okay. Number four, evaluate and adjust. Continuously assess your actions. Continuously. Always make sure that you're in alignment with where you want to be. And if you're not, tweak that dial to get back to where you need to be. Do whatever you need to do to get back to where you need to be. Because at the end of the day, you may not realize eating that cheeseburger today, could clog your arteries. But later down the line, when you're like 60, 70, you could possibly have something that health-wise happened because you ate too many cheeseburgers. And that's just an example. I wish everybody health and wealth, okay? But this is just an example. So you need to understand, like, you may be sitting up there thinking negatively, and then something happened with somebody, the same person you were thinking negatively about. Now you got to deal with the consequences and the effects of you thinking that way and putting your frequency in that position. or the low happened and you decide that you're gonna like drop down lower to meet the low because you don't understand how to apply these things and break it down in this way. So this is why it's important for us to get to the point where we are not only studying, but we are building each other up and we are being intentional about everything that we're doing. Intentional, okay? If the outcomes aren't what is intended, adjust your approach to create a more favorable result. I'm going to read that one again. Number 4, evaluate and adjust. I'm going to read it again. Continuously assess the effects of your actions. If the outcome aren't what is intended, adjust your approach and create a more favorable result. Okay? Number 5, learn from experience. Learn from your experience. Do not repeat the same experience. And this is where we get, oh, I didn't learn that lesson. Oh, I'm being taught a lesson. Oh, I must be going through a test. This is where we get this from. Because we don't learn and we keep doing the same thing. And it's like walking into a brick wall and bumping our heads. We're just bumping our heads. You might as well dance to it. You just bump your head because you're not learning from what is happening. But we are smarter today. We're smarter than we were yesterday. And we understand going forward that we are being intentional in our life. Intentional. Be intentional, okay? Now, number 5 states, learn from experience. Reflect on past actions and their outcome. Use this knowledge to make a better decision in the future. Use this knowledge to make better decisions in your life, okay? Learn from the first thing. Learn from the second and third thing you did it. Because a lot of times we done been through something multiple times and we just haven't literally like sat down to draw out like on a map, on a paper or anything, journal it out to figure out why we're constantly on the same cycle. We're on the same cycle because we're not learning and we're not being intentional from the things that we have been through in our past, okay? So now is the time for you to get that. Learn from your experiences. I'm definitely going to be applying this. Number 6, apply consistency. Practice these steps consistently in all areas of your life to make positive changes and growth. By following these stages, excuse me, you can effectively use the principle of cause and effect to your benefit, creating a chain reaction of positive outcomes in your personal and professional life. In your personal and professional life, you can cause positive changes to happen in your life. You can create and co-create your reality on so many levels with everything that I've given you so far. And we still got one more principle to go through. We still have one more. And then we'll move into mental transmutation. Yeah, I think I'll do transmutation. Or maybe I'll save it. We'll do it. Don't worry about it. We'll do it. Okay, now the principle of gender is very small. Okay, it is literally very short. It's not something that we need a lot of understanding to master. Okay, now the principle of gender states gender isn't everything. Everything has a masculine or feminine principle. Gender manifests on all levels. This principle states that there is a masculine and feminine in everything on the physical, the spiritual, and mental planes. That's it. That's all it states, guys. And we literally have gender into everything, okay?